My role in this project, I'm deeply involved in the interactive programming aspect of Broken Simulacrum. So I use, in this case, a combination of an Arduino Uno microcontroller and Maximus P to create the interaction based upon the proximity of the viewer and the artwork. The exhibition that I'm preparing for Broken Simulacrum encompasses being a new media piece that combines interactivity and experimental video and installation. So as the viewer walks towards the screen, the image gets progressively more destroyed and deconstructed. Coda is a painting series. A series of paintings on canvas, mixed media paintings, where they all started off as photographs of times and places of where I lived and traveled to when I lived in Europe 2 years back. The photographs themselves, as I said, are recordings of times and places, so essentially they're memories of these things. And through Coda, I was interested in using the photograph as a memory and going through the process of painting and digital manipulation and repainting again, deconstructing and reconstructing the image. I connect Coda to Broken Simulacrum through the way of, through an interest of deconstructing the image, getting to the core or the essence of that image that we see or feel. Through the Eyes of the Machine started off as a sketch that I developed 2 years ago when I lived in Europe, and basically it came from an accumulative observations of what I was witnessing there. There was a lot of amazing new media projects that were being exhibited in Geneva, Switzerland, and a lot of those ideas I feel like have had influenced my interests. And so it started off as, so Through the Eyes of the Machine started off as a sketch where I was interested in, through the viewer, having a direct effect, destroying something, having a direct effect in terms of destroying an image. I don't think there is a connection with surveillance or Broken Simulacrum. I guess where the two relate is that I'm really interested in creating interactive works where they are highly accessible to the public at large. So I want viewers to be able to walk into a space without knowing anything about the piece and just simply let the piece respond to them and accordingly. But Through the Eyes of the Machine also stemmed from my observations from the new media scene in Hamilton. So from what I've witnessed, some interactive works required some sort of instruction in order to respond appropriately to the viewer. Now, I found that a lot of times having an instruction or a certain learning curve was a bit of a hindrance to the piece itself. In the sense that the piece wouldn't work because of the viewer's patience. I'll start off by saying, Through the Eyes of the Machine, what I wanted was to have an open space where anybody, as many people as possible, can walk in and interact with it. With Broken Simulacrum, what I want to evoke an intimate experience with the viewer, so a one-on-one experience with them, and by doing so through the confinement of the space with the piece and the viewer themselves. An Arduino microcontroller basically features various inputs and outputs that allows you to connect to many kinds of accessories such as sensors, and with those inputs and outputs you're able to connect that to a computer, and there's a dedicated programming language that basically talks to the microcontroller, and with that computer language you can use that to communicate with other various pieces of software. In this case, create interactivity. Well, I really enjoy problem solving. There's something about thinking about logic that really entices me in terms of creating systems from scratch, and of course that goes through a series of trial and error. I really enjoy the problem solving aspect. And I feel like that's a strength that I bring into this project in particular, of course, with the programming aspect. Since its inception, Haven has grown to become an artist-run community center that specializes in various domains. Originally it started off as an art gallery and a studio space for experimenting in general. I feel that over time, with all the interdisciplinary artists that are involved in the collective, I feel it's grown beyond just being an art gallery. It's also a music venue, it's also a recording studio, a record label, a dark room. It's also a meeting space. And all this is completely open to the community at large. When it comes to collaboration, effective collaboration is about figuring out or working with like-minded people who bring to the table strengths that you don't necessarily have, and you yourself bring your own expertise to a project that other people don't have, and it's about amalgamating all these strengths together to create a finessed product or result that you otherwise may have not have gone as completed if you were to do it on your own accord.